Hello and welcome back to Alessio Menconi GuitarLessons.com. Today I'd like to show you a series of chords that I called, in my book Metodo di Chitarra Jazz, Block Chord Study. These are fundamental chords, the first chords you should learn to play most American standards. Let's look at some positions. Some will have the bass on the 6th string, others on the 5th, and others on the 4th string. As a chord family, let's start by looking at the major 7th and the 6th, which are two chords you can use on the 1st degree in a 2-5-1 cadence, or even on the 4th degree of a major scale. So, two major chords in position that can be substituted for one another. The dominant 7th chord, which is obviously a very important 5th degree chord, the sus chord, which is still a dominant 7th but with the 4th suspended and therefore without the 3rd, the minor 7th chord, the half-diminished chord, which is a minor 7th with a diminished 5th, and the minor 6th chord. Here is the G composed of root, 7th, 3rd, and 5th, so a major 7th chord. Next, we see the G 6th, root, 6th, 3rd, and 5th. These two chords can be interchanged, one after the other. Let's continue in position, still with the bass on the 6th string. We have a G 7th, root, 7th, 3rd, and 5th. Then we have the sus chord, so in this case we can play the 5th or leave it out and skip it with the right hand, playing root, 7th, 4th, which is also the 11th and 5th. Next, we have the G minor 7th, again skipping the 5th string. I play the G with the 2nd finger, then the 7th, 3rd, and 5th with a small bar using the 3rd finger. Half diminished, basically, I use the same chord and lower the 5th to a diminished 5th, and I have a half diminished chord, minor 7th, diminished 5th. Last chord, minor 6th, root, 6th, minor 3rd, and 5th. In this case, I can use the minor 6th, alternating it with the minor 7. Now let's take a look at the same types of chords but with the bass on the 5th string. Let's start, as we said before, with the major 7th. So we have C, G, B, E. So C major 7th, root, 5th, 7th, 3rd. C 6th, root, 5th, 6th, 3rd. Here too, I can alternate between the two chords, major, major 7th, 6th. C 7th, root, 5th, minor 7th, 3rd. C, G, which is the 5th, B flat, which is the minor 7th, 3rd, E. C sus. All I do is put the 4th in place of the 3rd and I get a C suspended 7th, suspended 4th. I lower the 3rd to make it minor, leave everything else unchanged, and I get a C minor 7. Then C half diminished, so I lower the 5th to a diminished 5th, keep the minor 7th, minor 3rd, and I have a C half diminished with root, diminished 5th, minor 7th, minor 3rd. And the last chord, root, 5th, 6th, minor 3rd. C minor 6th, minor 7th, minor 6th, minor 7th, minor 6th. So we've seen two positions, bass on the 6th string, bass on the 5th string. We still have another one available. So by using 4 adjacent strings, we can use chords that are made up of these 4 strings, meaning the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. So let's look at all 7 of them again, and I'll have an F major 7th made up of the root, 5th, major 7th, and 3rd. So a small bar with the 3rd finger, and the 1st finger takes the time. The F6th is the same, but instead of the 7th I'll put the D, so the major 6th, and I get an F6th. Major 7th, 6th, major 7th, 6th. F7th, root, 5th, minor 7th, 3rd. Here's our F7th built with these 4 strings, always in 4 voices. I raise the 3rd by a half step and end up on the 4th, with the 4th finger. So here I have the B flat, which is the 4th degree, and so I'm playing an F sus, which, I remind you, is still an F7th chord. F minor 7th, root, 5th, minor 7th, minor 3rd. F half diminished, I lower everything by a half step compared to F major, root, diminished 5th, minor 7th, minor 3rd. Last chord F minor 6th, root, 5th, 6th, minor 3rd. This one is also nice to alternate between minor 7th and minor 6th. So we've looked at this series of chords in 3 fundamental positions: bass on the 6th, bass on the 5th, bass on the 4th string. This allows us to move freely along the fretboard. For example, G major 7th, C major 7th, F major 7th, B flat major 7th. As you saw, within a space of 4 or 5 frets I can play all these chords, E half diminished or E half diminished. Depending on where I am, I can find, either below or by moving just a little, any of these chords we've just seen. Okay, so the exercise is to start looking at, for example, a very simple standard and insert this series of chords so that we start using them and not necessarily moving the same long shape up and down the fretboard, but playing the same chords we have in a chart in different positions, staying within the various sections of the neck. Enjoy making music.